Most games, especially JRPGs, expect you to follow a pretty specific path through them. If the game doesn't want you to go to certain places too early, you'll find NPCs or some sort of random thing blocking your path. But after you've played your favorite games dozens of times, it can get pretty repetitive to follow the exact same path every time, right? Well, what if you didn't have to? Going to places and areas that you aren't supposed to go to can allow you to mess with the game in often unpredictable ways. Sometimes you'll be able to skip entire sections of the game without any problems, including boss fights and events. Other times though, you may end up breaking the game altogether, rendering it unplayable. But the most important part is that it can allow you to experience games in interesting and fun new ways, even if you do end up breaking it in the process. Today, we're gonna take a look into Digimon World 3 and take away the limitations that keep us bound within it. We'll be able to walk anywhere we want to and get any important items at any point in the game. Will the game continue to function as it is supposed to, or will our shenanigans cause things to spiral out of control? Well, I hope you have your snacks and 11 liters of Pepsi ready, because it is time for us to log into Digimon Online and find out. I'm gonna start things off after we get our Digimon in-game. Now, as everyone who's played this game knows, the admin center is off limits early on. In fact, it is quite a while before we can gain access to it, as the guard will push us out the door as soon as we try to get in. But of course, with our newfound powers, we can simply take this door up here and go inside. We won't be stopped by anyone on the second floor, because the game does not have to do that at any point in the story. So we are free to look around and explore as much as we want. Unfortunately though, there isn't anything to see here as such. We aren't expected to be here right now, so no story triggers are in place at the moment. Still, I thought it was pretty nifty. If we were to go to the first floor though, the game will play out the same sequence from earlier, as if we had entered from the lobby area, and we'll get kicked out of the admin center again. Next, let's check out the arena room. We never really get a chance to do anything here in the main game. This NPC here will tell us to collect the 4 city badges to enter the tournament, and we all know how that goes. In case you don't know and need more info, I've made a video on how to find the secret final boss of this game, which involves the arena. But that's in the post-game. Anyway, the person behind this NPC is someone we're never supposed to be able to talk to. If we do try to talk to her, she'll lock the game and we'll be unable to do anything. I was curious though, and put the 4 city badges into my inventory to see if the first NPC's dialogue will change in any way. But no. She refuses to acknowledge the existence of my badges, and keeps on saying what she was saying before. And even with the badges, the girl behind her will try to keep us there forever. Now then, let's explore Asuka City for a moment. In the beginning, if we try to go to El Dorado, we won't be allowed in if our Digimon's charisma isn't high enough. We could, however, try to sneak our way in. If we go to the cargo area, we can simply go into the water tunnel from this room. Normally, there is no way for us to access the water tunnel door from up here, but we are not playing by the rules today. But the game has its eyes on us, because while we can roam around in the water tunnel, if we try to get into the El Dorado area, we'll get caught. The event is quite similar to the one we saw in the admin center, so we'll get kicked out of here too. But now, let me show you something really cool. Through the underground path, we can access the Asuka sewers, but only a tiny part of it. We don't get access to the entirety of the sewers until we get quite far into the game. But if we wanted to, we could simply fly over the barriers that keep us in place and explore the sewers right now. Isn't that kinda insane? But wait, there's more. When we do make our way to the sewers later in the game, we need to fight Digimon, who is a formidable opponent at the time we face it. But if we wanted to, we could take on Digimon right away. How cool is that? Obviously, my level 1 Digimon wouldn't stand a chance against it, so I buffed up my Kumamon through more unconventional methods. After repeatedly punching Digimon in the groin until it fell over, I won the battle. But then, something really strange happened. Digimon completely disappeared altogether. But our main character refused to believe that reality, and simply carried on that conversation as if Digimon was still there. Going beyond the bounds of this universe may have messed with his mind or something. The thing is though, you do need to talk to Digimon after getting the rusty gloves to move the story forward later. I don't know if Digimon would reappear at that point, or if it's gone forever, rendering the game unbeatable or something. Oh well, moving on. Let's try something I've been really curious about. So as we know, as the game goes on, we acquire the Digi-Eggs of Sincerity and Knowledge, allowing us to get into the seabeds and the underground, giving us access to more places to go to. But we don't get the eggs for a while, so I tried to put them into my inventory to see if I could really mess with the game and its usual sequence of things. Unfortunately, even with the eggs in my possession, I could not call Submarinemon or Digimon. I guess there must be some kind of story tag that is preventing me from using them until the appropriate time, and until certain events have taken place. I even tried putting in all the major story-related items that I could think of, including the city tags that can't be acquired at all, in case they did something on the back end of the game's programming. But nope, the eggs still did not work. Now then, in order to get to the south sector, we do need to beat the Siryu leader. I tried to check out the station with the Siryu badge, blue card as well as the fake blue card in my inventory, but I couldn't even interact with the station at all. So I did have to go and beat Master Tyrannomon and then the Siryu leader before I could proceed. And then, of course, we do get to see the event with Teddy as well. Maybe that's part of the trigger which allows us to connect with the station in the first place. But you know how, normally, we would have to do the whole Tricky Guilmon side quest in order to get the real blue card for the station? Well, we can safely skip all of that nonsense, as the game treats my illegitimately acquired card as the same thing as the real one. We don't have to mess with the fake 8-Lu card at all. The system automatically notices the real one, even though I do have both cards with me. In South Sector, the main roadblock is Zambamon. There is a side quest which needs to be done before we can do anything about him. But we are pretty special, so we can simply maneuver around Zambamon without him even noticing. Although we now have access to the Phoenix Bay and Suzaku City, we can't really make any progress, as far as the story is concerned anyway. None of the important characters, like the Suzaku leader, are present in the city right now. The store owners are all there, along with the tamers that can be fought or card battled with, but not the story NPCs. So I guess we do need to get rid of Zambamon the old-fashioned way, before we can go any further. But here's something nifty. Talking to the Floramon here will lock the game, similar to that girl in the arena from earlier. I suppose these NPCs don't have any dialogue, so the game doesn't know what to do here. Anyway, before we head back, I wanted to check out the Jungle Shrine. And wouldn't you know it, our old pal Zambamon is apparently in 2 places at once. While he's still blocking the path in the grave, he's also hanging out here. He can be beaten here, and yet he'll still need to be taken care of at the grave. So I figured I'll do the whole smelly herb side quest, cause there did not appear to be any way around it. But it doesn't take too long, since I can just blitz through maps super quick. I also found a way to make sure I have no encounters whatsoever. It's nice not being interrupted every few moments. Anyway, after getting rid of Zambamon the right way, Suzaku City is now properly available to us. Before fighting the leader, we do run into Lisa here for the very first time in the game. This is, essentially, Digimon World 3's way of introducing this character to us, as he'll play an important role later. But right now, I wanted to see if I could skip this interaction, and I can, apparently. Cool. Then I took care of the leader, as that appears to be necessary. On the way out, we are supposed to meet up with Kale, who will take us directly to Asuka City. I tried to see if it was possible to skip her, but I don't think it is. For this event, I'm supposed to walk up to Kale and let the game start the dialogue by itself. I tried to talk to Kale directly from a different angle, and the game decided it was not gonna let me get away with that. On a side note, one thing I've noticed is that the game often seems to pay special attention to events where our character walks off screen to a different map. Maybe these events set off triggers in the code or something? I don't know for sure. Back in Asuka City, we have to find a way to sneak into the admin center. I looked around in there after the scene, but there was nothing there to see. So we'll need to find some Agumon suits first. But before we go hunting for Etimon to get those suits, you remember how we never actually got into El Dorado, right? Since we aren't a member, we can't officially participate in the auctions. But we could dodge this dude and get into the cargo tower. And wouldn't you know it, we are automatically participating in the auction. Who needs the El Dorado ID when you have the power to go wherever you want? After getting stuffed into a blue Agumon suit, I tried to see if I could explore the world like this. But the game wouldn't let me go outside. Dang it. But I was not gonna give up that easily. On the second floor of the admin center, this dude blocks the way to the prison area. He does not know that magical Agumon who can run on air do not need permission. So I was able to make my way outside, but what's this? The game won't let me be an Agumon outside at all. On a side note, where do my Digimon go when my character puts on the Agumon suit? Are they all inside the suit with my character? That does not seem like it would be comfortable. Heading back into the admin center, this is another case of let the game take control and start the dialogue. Cause if I talk to the pink Agumon directly, well, we've seen this before. I tried to explore the admin center more as Agumon, cause we never get a chance to put on the Agumon suit again. I tried heading to the basement, but the game took my suit away once more. In the end, I do have to let the scene with the game master play out. After this though, if I put the TNT chip in my inventory, which is another important item for which we need to do an annoying quest for, and head to the place where it needs to eventually be used in the Tranquil Swamp, I'll be able to skip the entire quest for it. How nice! We finally have our hands on a legitimate Digi-Egg of Sincerity. It's time to head to the West Sector. Before we can head to Byakko City, we will have an event with a cute, friendly Numemon here, who will try to warn us to not go there. Even though I enjoy hanging out with Numemon on this channel, today we are gonna avoid this event by using our mystical abilities to walk around the area where the event happens. But that's not all I'm skipping here. In the city, normally, we have to fight the fake Byakko leader, who'll throw us into the underground cave after we win. This guard blocks the way to the cave for now, but let's see what happens if I dribble past him and go in there anyway. It turns out that we have skipped the boss battle altogether, as this scene is supposed to play out after the fight happens. I guess the game is supposed to play this scene when we get to the prison for the first time, regardless of how that happens. There's more fun to be had here though. So after we get caught, Numemon saves us and gets us out of here during a normal playthrough. But today, we're gonna rely on no one's help and save ourselves. Some guards block the way and mock us for getting captured, even though that never happened. After some fancy footwork, we can leave them in our dust and get out of here. As we go out into the city, we can find that it's pretty deserted. No one's around. I guess the AOA got the heck out of here once they saw some dude with a couple of rookies breaking the laws of their reality. I can understand that. I would run too if I saw something like that. We can actually just leave and go to Mirage Tower and fight the real Byakko leader there. This one can't be skipped as far as I can tell. In fact, there appear to be a bunch of things that can't be skipped after the Byakko City stuff. We do have to find the Numemon in the Dum Dum Factory and beat Andromon as well in order to open the door to the sewers. And after that, we have to beat the sad, lonely Varumanzaimon too, as the game simply cannot go anywhere until we free Lisa from his pervy hands. After Kurt gets turned into Oinkmon, it's time to head to the Asuka sewers, and here we can have a little more fun. So Asuka City at the moment is locked down. The next part of the game is all about trying to get access to it. But we could just float through the air and go in through the underground pathways entrance which we used earlier. This dude, who gave us the Agumon suits earlier, even has lines of dialogue if we talk to him, even though there should be no way to interact with him at this point in time. While I can move around Asuka City this way, the story events will not trigger, so I can't move the game forward. The lobby NPCs are there, and the dude who stops us from going into the admin center is there too. But while I can explore the admin center, there's no one around here. In addition, I tried putting the staff pass key item into my inventory to avoid a very annoying quest which will require quite a bit of backtracking, but Datamon refused to acknowledge its existence. Also, Datamon is back. Good to see he wasn't gone for good. So I had to play through the next part of the game like a good little boy, without skipping anything big. I did skip all the battles with the AoE grunts, but that's pretty basic. I wanted to do something bigger than that. After the fight with the Game Master, it's time to head over to the Amaterasu server. In the Jungle Shrine, we can skip a tiny event with the Suzaku leader, who would normally try to stop us from going into the Bug Maze. While inside the Bug Maze, we have to take care of Bulbmon one final time, but I wanted to see what would happen if I just didn't do that. So I was able to get into the Amaterasu server, but things were not okay. The many Oinkmon and AoE guards that are supposed to be loitering around here are nowhere to be found. Everyone knows about the scary Nightmon that ambush you if you try to go into Amaterasu City, but they weren't on the bridge like they should be. The entire server seems like it was abandoned, making Amaterasu look creepier than it usually is. I tried checking out the sewers here, as Black War Greymon is supposed to be where Datamon was, as an optional boss, but even he was gone. In the main lobby area, there weren't even any NPCs around, which kind of felt really weird. And of course, the admin center is void of any life as well. Strangely enough, I found some living, breathing Oinkmon in the arena center. I wonder why they're still around when all the other Oinkmon are gone. I guess the Bulbmon fight is important for everything else around here to function. Before I went back to take on Bulbmon though, I wanted to take a look inside Qinglong City to see if anything was happening here. Weirdly enough, the Qinglong Chief is here, and the only one around here in fact. The Amaterasu Chiefs are an important part of the story, and need to be beaten for their ID passes eventually. The Chief here does initiate a battle, and everything seems to be going fine. He is supposed to disappear after the battle, and leave an ID pass behind. But after I win, he's just gone. No ID pass, no nothing. That's odd. I'm not really sure what happened here. But I figured that skipping Bulbmon may have had something to do with it. So I went back through the bug maze and beat Bulbmon. After coming back to Amaterasu, things did look normal, as all the NPCs were back. Maybe we haven't broken the game after all. But I was curious about the Qinglong Chief. Would I have to beat him again? Well, as soon as I entered Qinglong City again, the after battle event kicked in right away. I didn't even have to go upstairs to where the chief was. Digimon World 3 appears to be quite good at making sure that nothing goes horribly wrong. I'm kinda impressed. Next, I made my way to Central Park. During this part of the game, Amaterasu City is well known for a really strange sequence which always leads to a game over. If I head over the bridge, I'll be confronted by some scary Nightmon who won't let me through. Even worse, they will start a battle that is unwinnable and inescapable through normal means. The weird part is, during the dialogue before the fight, it appears that we should be just made to retreat, kinda like the way we were turned away by the admin center employee. But for some reason, a fight breaks out, and there's no way to win. But obviously, we don't have to cross the bridge to get into the city today. Instead, I could avoid the Nightmon by walking on the air around them. Lo and behold, we can enter the city without any problems. Although, like before, there's nothing we can really do once we get in here. No story triggers in the admin center again, sadly. It looks like the game won't share the secrets of the city to hackers like us. Here's something fun though. I tried talking to the Nightmon directly, and they do seem to have some dialogue, although it is in Japanese. I tried putting this through Google Translate, and this is what I got. A rather bizarre thing to say. Very cryptic, I guess. If anyone has a better translation, do let me know in the comments. I decided to visit Baihu City next, which is also blocked by AOA members. That means nothing to us though. The city is actually quite populated. A bunch of NPCs are here, as they should be, except the AOA chief that is supposed to be here. Probably out on a stroll or something. On a different note, there are some really creepy statues on the side of the city that I never noticed before. The one on the left is a Digimon, yes, but what are the rest of these weird things? There is something like this close to Sirius City too. Reminds me of the Cactar from Final Fantasy, personally. Anyway, if we head over to Mirage Tower, we'll get to see a scene with Kenny, the dude we ran into when we first came to Amaterasu. We can, of course, ignore him entirely. Leader Chuck mentions that we need the 4 ID passes to get into Amaterasu. Let's try that then. Here's something funny though. Kenny is in Chuck's room while we were talking to him, but as soon as we head outside, he is there as well. Kenny working really hard, I guess. I tried putting in all the ID passes into my inventory to see if Nightmon would leave me alone. But no, Nightmon does not recognize my hacked ID passes. Dang it. It's time to get the Digi Egg of Knowledge. For that, usually we have to beat the Zuchu Chief. Otherwise, this random Oinkmon won't get out of the way for some reason. If we do use our unnatural tricks to get past him though, we can make our way to the underground lake, where the Digi Egg is supposed to be. And yet, it's not there. Maybe that Oinkmon puts it there after it sees that we are the good guys? I don't know. The game wants us to jump through its hoops to get the Digi Egg at the end of the day. Now that we finally have the ability to call Digimon, let's check out the north sector in Asuka. But first, I tried to visit the Amaterasu equivalent of Genbu City, in case I could mess with the game that way. We are not expected to be here for a while. After getting past them, I was surprised that the chief was here, waiting for us. But he just keeps repeating that over and over. The battle trigger isn't going off. Dang it, game, let me have some fun. Anyway, what we were supposed to do is go to Genbu City and get the last badge, and then go to the Matrix Chamber after fighting through the dungeon bosses. Well, you'll be happy to know that we don't have to do any of that. Instead of going to Genbu City, I made my way towards the Matrix Chamber, skipping past every boss along the way. We don't have time for their dumb games, right? After getting into the Matrix Chamber, the NPC here demands to see all 4 badges. I put the missing badge into my inventory and here we go! Finally, we get to skip a few things. Nothing much to do here though. Just gotta wait out the clock, really. After this, however, we do have to go back to playing by the rules for a while, like collecting the remaining ID passes in order to gain legitimate access to Amaterasu City. The Nightmon simply won't go away until I do things the way they're supposed to be done. Here's something interesting. If we were to check out the arena area in Amaterasu, we'll find another couple of NPCs like the ones in Asuka. Unlike the one in Asuka who didn't have any dialogue, the one here does have something to say. It appears to be the same thing that those Nightmon were talking about. What does it all mean? Moving towards the end of the game, I always wondered if these Oinkmon were trying to keep us from checking out these panels here for a reason. But no, there's nothing here. Here's something random I found in this room though. The first time we try to go through this doorway, the game takes us there by itself. But if I try to go back in here, the game will play out that event again. Every time. Kind of a fun little glitch, huh? When we head into Amaterasu City for the final time, we see an event with Kale and Kurt, the Oinkmon, on the bridge. This event can safely be skipped, and we are not done skipping stuff just yet. We are not only gonna skip all the grunt battles along the way, we are gonna skip the entirety of Gunslinger 2. Who's gonna stop us, right? Veteran fans of this game know all about the mini boss battle with Armageddon on this bridge, but I'm gonna skip that too. But skipping all of that does have some weird effects in the final room. First up, Lord Megadeth is nowhere to be found. No one is here, actually. But now we get to see what is, in my opinion, the funniest thing this boundary-breaking run has had to offer. The dialogue for Lord Megadeth plays out, while Lord Megadeth isn't here. In addition, to take this to the next level, Snatchmon and its dialogue are gone altogether. So the ghost of Lord Megadeth appears to be talking to himself. Or maybe this whole thing is playing out in the mind of our protagonist. Maybe none of this ever happened, and Junior here has been imagining all of it the entire time. Even Junior plays his part and talks to this imaginary Snatchmon. But after this, we do get the usual final battle with Galacticmon. No changes here. I was kinda hoping Galacticmon itself would disappear too. But we gotta beat it up, one punch to the groin at a time. And there we have it. I tried to break Digimon World 3, but this game refused to let me make a mess of it. We were able to break a few important sequences here and there, and skip a few boss battles too. But we were unable to do anything completely insane, like skipping half the game or teleporting to the final boss. Even with key items already in the inventory, the game still wanted me to make sure that certain events do happen as they're supposed to. But I'll leave the rest to all of you. See if you can break this game apart even more, and find a way to skip even bigger parts of the game. And if you find anything really cool that I missed, do let me know in the comments. While Junior here is waiting for his friends to show up, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so on my Patreon, where I've got cute exclusive content. And now, here's a quick shout out to my wonderful patrons. Thank you Chaos Untold, Hero Emblem, Spider President, Blake CN1, Vanilla, Yogg, and Sevastimedis for your continued support. And here's a special shout out to McDivil, an amazing friend of the channel. Your friendship makes nerdhood a better place. Thank you, McDivil, my friend. And now, for an ultra strong shout out to the incredible people who keep the digital world safe and sound. A huge thank you to the amazing trio of Shamine, Derpin Goose, and Marasmus32 for your support. You are all truly, absolutely awesome. After boundary breaking through Digimon World 3, I am wondering if I'll find anything cool in the other two Digimon World games on the PS1. Considering how glitchy World 1 is, its world might fall apart if I'm not careful. That could be fun, right? Although I'm not sure what, if anything, I'll find while boundary breaking in World 2. Maybe I'll finally find that elusive Chimeramon on the 99th floor of Terra Domain. If you'd like to see me give those adventures a shot, do let me know in the comments. And that's all I have for you today. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!